Rachel, will you give me a tour of the CSA stand?
These are the zinnias, these are the melons, cherry tomatoes, the tomatillos. These are the peppers too. These are the potatoes too. That's so much basil. These are the herbs. This is the garlic. These are the leeks. These are the ground cherries. That's the scale. There are the vegetables.
Can you pick out a couple of nice ones for me of these?
Sure.
And then I'd like to take, which is going to be the most flavorful tomatoes?
$3 a pound.
A pound, okay, so let me pick one out. I'll take these 3.
Okay.
All right, and then I'll take 2 of these melons. That's good. You took candid shots, so you get me. He's a good filmmaker. He knows.
Yeah.
Let me take these 2.
Okay.
Don't worry. If it's not perfect, it's okay. Well, how much do I owe you for that now?
This is $16.50.
$16.50. Oh, the year of my birth. What a coincidence. You got change?
I can get change inside.
Okay, how much? What was that? $16.50?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll wait for the change. Just give me $3 back. That's all.
Okay.
What'd you get there? Did you
Oh, I was just filming Rachel coming to give me a change.
okay.
Oh.
All right. Okay. There's proof that the farm is profitable. We need places like this. We need a diversity of farms with a diversity of crops.
There are other farms that are bigger and more efficient. There are farms with higher yields, but that's not the right metric to measure this farm by. East Brook is to be measured not by pounds of produce produced, but by the number of lives it enables to be lived well.
Hey Sarah, this is on, by the way.
Okay.
I'm writing the scripts for this film that I'm making right now. I started reading the Holistic Management Wikipedia page, and I was like, oh, okay, I need some help.
Well, what do you want to know about holistic management?
What is it?
Well, it used to be called a decision-making framework. We call it management planning. Considering all the things that you manage, your social life, land, trees, garden, your money, what your resources are, and planning for how you're going to manage them, and then monitoring. The difference between a holistic financial plan and a financial plan is that the holistic financial plan considers all of the things that you're managing and plan for the life that you want, and then have a good monitoring system for it. So like pulling that plan out every week or every month and looking and seeing how you're doing, and if you want to make changes.
It's interesting to me that you started in this abstract way. Look at whatever you're managing, and then you start talking about money.
Right, as an example.
Yeah, it's a fantastic example, but it's not the first example that I would have expected you would have gone to. What I was reading is that it's an agricultural philosophy about land management to prevent desertification, right? But there's this jump that you made between thinking about land as like this realm unto itself. You started thinking about it in terms of like life, right? Like all of your life.
Yeah, all of your life. So it's a triple bottom line. So you have social, economical, and ecological. It's like the 3-legged stool. If you don't consider all of them, you're gonna topple over.
What do we mean when we use the word farm? Are we referring to a piece of land which makes food, or the animals and plants that are growing, the people doing the harvesting, or those doing the eating? Perhaps a farm is a place that's designed to sustain life of all kinds.
These are radishes, cabbages, amaranth, collards, Jerusalem artichokes. Look at this radish. My dad planted it in April. Now it's September. It's huge. This is broccoli and cauliflower that we planted in the pouring rain. It's so happy. Killed so many cabbage worms on them yesterday. See, right here. They do this really sneaky thing where they blend in with the stem and the leaf. See how it's blending in with the stem? It's right here.
There's a worm there? Holy crap. Can you pick it up?
Yeah. This becomes a cabbage moth. Are you ready?
Sure. Oh God!
Look.
It's a broccoli!
It's a little broccoli. You want to see a big broccoli? It's not that big, but it's the biggest of what's out here right now.
It's coming.
Little broccoli on the hillside. Little broccoli made of compost. Little broccoli, little cauliflower too. There's a cabbage moth, and a cabbage moth, and a cabbage moth, and a cabbage moth. Well, actually, they're cabbage worms, but they'll be cabbage moths one day. Unless we kill them. Did you know that when you farm, you kill things every day? A lot of people think farming is about life, and it is, which means that it's about death. In order for the life of the broccoli
we make the death of the cabbage orb. It feels more intuitively obvious to people with animals because they're like sentient in a way that we can relate to more than plants, but it's true with plants too. We kill things much more frequently with plants than we do with animals.
You're killing all the pests.
Right. And the plant itself, you harvest the turnip, it's not turniping anymore. Eat or be eaten, they say. It's very easy to muse about these things while you're doing a relatively menial task. It's a lot of philosophizing, so you don't have to think too much about what you're doing in terms of the actual physical labor of it. But there's a lot you can think about in terms of what you're doing. Gosh, we killed so many of you yesterday, but yours is still gone. Life is persistent. It's a big thing you learn when you farm. But life is persistent.
Each day the leaves grow and the insects munch. Each day we go out to the fields and tend the life which persists there. The work is strenuous and repetitive, but within each task there's a hint of a larger pattern. Picking pests off plants isn't just about this year's harvest, it's about understanding our relationship with the rest of the natural world.
Nature functions in wholes. So people hear holistic management and they might think grazing, but it's this whole system of like, I mean, you can use it just in your family. Like, how does my family make decisions? You know, how are we going to do this? Mm-hmm. How are we going to define what we manage?
And that's what you want to do here, right?
Yeah. We've started actually using the process where people that live here have gone through their own kind of worksheets of defining what they manage personally and what their values are. And then we create something called a holistic goal.
Wait, can you show me this?
Yeah.
So values.
Yeah. Right now, everyone who lives here has been doing their own process with this, and this was the first step we had for our community process, which was just doing a brainstorm. I love brainstorms because it's like anything goes. You could yell out the word cake, and then the whole point of it is after you look at your list and you're like, why did I say cake? Oh, well, I value treats. Well, why do I value treats? Oh, it's comfort. Is it really comfort? Is that what I'm getting at? You know, so
well,
it's like
I was looking here and like, you know, there's all of these things like, you know, collaboration and integrity and like, you know, abstract things. And then over here, what is it? Water?
Yeah. Like, so,
like water's valuable.
Yeah.
I value it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the thing, ask yourself why 5 times. So it'd be like, why did we say water? Who said water? And you kind of go over your brainstorm and it's like, health, healthy living, healthy ecosystem, you know, and you kind of get into like, what is it really that I value when I say water? Yeah, I love holistic management. It's an awesome process.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
The trick is to train yourself how to think about the farm, not just in terms of inputs and outputs, but to think in terms of all the ways that all the creatures affect each other. It takes practice to remind yourself that you're interacting with a system, not discrete objects. A system which affects you far more than you can affect it.
These are Brussels sprouts, broccoli, celeriac, kale, butternut squash, big fat butternut, corn, lamb's quarters, birdhouse gourds. You can make birdhouses out of them. That's a telos. Do you want to see a good example of not all weeds are your friend? Check out these cabbages right here, and then check out the cabbages that are in the path of this weed. They were planted on the same day. They're the same kinds of cabbage, but look at how tiny this cabbage is.
Whoa.
And look at how big the one next to it is. Because of this, we don't know what it is, but clearly it's taking away nutrients that the cabbage wants because of how tiny they are. These were all planted the same day.
Those back there too?
Yep. Sometimes we like to keep certain things that are considered weeds because they provide nutrients and mulch and stuff for the plants, but this is not one that we want to keep in the future.
That's so cool.
But if you look over there at that chard bed with all that clover in it, we weeded it, but we left the clover because the clover actively supplies nitrogen to the plants that are planted around it, and chard likes that. And it's serving as a living mulch to prevent the soil from going through cycles of drying out and getting wet and being too exposed to the sun. So it's keeping the biology of the soil much more alive, but not this thing.
This farm isn't just a farm, it's a way of living. A way of ensuring that the labors of your life sustain the lives of others. Okay, so we have received a last-minute mission. There's a neighbor who has some hay that's been sitting out, and it's gonna rain, so we need to go get the hay and bring it back here and stash it in the barn all before it gets dark.
Hey,
Oh, and I need to go over here.
Hey! You gotta go get, hey!
Here we are.
Yes, that's the person doing the thing. Alright, now turn it hard the other way, so you're out of the road. Now there's a method to stacking hay.
What is the method?
It's not that much different. You have to remember the size and the way you stack.
Now we need to unload it in the dark. "26 bales of hay. It is far too dark to film anything else, so this video is over." Hey, thanks for watching, and an extra big thank you to our patrons on Patreon who help fund these videos. If you head on over to our Patreon page, you'll see a bunch of tiers, and one of them contains little homestead goodies from East Brook Farm, where I live. We'll send you regularly these little nourishing creams. They're handmade facial creams, and here are some dehydrated strawberries. They're super good. And we'll send you like a bunch of other, well, preserved foods and homestead products. A bunch of our tiers on Patreon feature products made by communally owned businesses from FEC communities. There's seeds and nut butters and a few other things. What makes the FEC network so strong is that we have these businesses which employ communards and keep the network together. Commune Life itself, this channel, is another income sharing business. All of the money that we raise on Patreon is shared by the communities we live at and by the businesses whose products we send to you as thanks. So thanks for watching. There will be more videos coming up very soon. Click that subscribe button if you want to get notified about them, and I will see you next time.